What's up guys, LeopoldTheBrave here and welcome to another death battle video. I briefly mentioned the idea for this video in my previous video, so I figured why not go ahead and get into it. These are my 5 death battle pet peeves. For those who don't know, a pet peeve is basically just something that annoys you. It's not really a flaw or something that needs to be fixed, just something that bothers me specifically. It's like a nitpick but slightly bigger, and talks more about the entire show rather than just a specific installment or episode. An example would be in Super Smash Bros. A pet peeve I have with this series is that they have Bowser and Donkey Kong making these animal noises instead of how they sound in the games. It annoys me a lot, but it's not going to make me think it's a bad game or make me want to take points off its review score. So, pretty much that. When people complain about Death Battle, it's usually because of inaccurate research or janky animation, yada yada yada. I just thought it'd be fun to do something smaller and sillier. Like discussing these non-problems that don't really need to be fixed, but would be a pleasant surprise if they were. So, with that said, let us begin. Pet peeve number 1 is the super flanderization of characters in Death Battle. This was the pet peeve that inspired me to make this video, so I figured why not start with it. Flanderization is when an otherwise well-fleshed out and well-developed character loses everything that made them interesting and unique in favor of just a specific character trait they're known for. Think of Ned Flanders in The Simpsons, where the term flanderization originates from. Ned Flanders was Homer's Christian next-door neighbor. He was a good neighbor. He was very sweet, caring, kind, he loved his family, and he was super friendly to everyone in the town. But as the show went on, he slowly became just the Christian guy. The rest of those other things just disappeared. Imagine if, in Avatar: The Last Airbender, over the course of the show, Uncle Iroh lost his love for his nephew, he lost his wisdom, he lost missing his son and being exhausted with the war, and just became the funny old tea-drinking guy. That's flanderization. Now, flanderization on its own wouldn't be too bad in Death Battle because it's just a 3 to 4 minute animation where the characters battle to the death. They don't really need to be dynamic or have these personal character moments. It would be nice, but they don't need it. The problem comes from super flanderization, which is where they're reduced to not only just character traits, but also specific quotes and lines from their series. Like with Yoda in Yoda vs. King Mickey. This could have been your chance to flex and show off your writing skills, coming up with brand new creative nuggets of wisdom that are so thought-provoking that it feels like only Yoda could have said them. But nope, instead he mostly decides to repeat quotes he says one time throughout the series. Then there's Hulk vs. Broly, where both characters just get reduced to the fact that they're both angry men by repeating each other's quotes. Iron Man vs. Lex Luthor's climax has gotten significantly less cool to me ever since I found out that Tony's playing human line isn't some cool character moment Death Battle came up with for Iron Man. It's actually something he says in the comics by this superior Iron Man who's apparently evil and stuff, so it doesn't even fit Tony in this moment. And then of course in Goku vs. Superman 2, there's the terrible portrayal of Goku where his lust for battle and getting stronger was taken way too far. I didn't think it was possible to flanderize Goku in that way more than Dragon Ball Super did, but they found a way. Again, the characters in Death Battle don't really need to be developed and fleshed out or dynamic or anything because it's just a 3 to 4 minute fight to the death, but it does always take me out of the fight a bit when I notice the characters are acting a bit too flat. Pet peeve number 2 is always sticking to the heavy hitters when they introduce a new franchise to Death Battle. Nowadays, when Death Battle brings a new series to the show, they always tend to go with either the main character or the main villain. Just the big heavy hitters of the franchise, the all-star characters. And there are a couple things about this that annoy me. For one, it makes the matchups a bit too predictable. When we got a glimpse of Steven Universe in the Season 8 trailer, we all knew he was going to be fighting Star Butterfly, and then we just had to sit there and wait for it. But imagine if it was Jasper or Amethyst. It would have been a neat surprise and we would have been left guessing. Now that one specifically isn't a big deal to me because I'm not much of a Steven Universe person at all, but it was the most recent example I could think of. The second reason it annoys me is because it can lead to some missed opportunities. Like Luke Skywalker versus Harry Potter. Despite how one-sided of a fight it would be so much more interesting and hyped to get today than it was when Death Battle first started. But nope, they hopped into the main characters right away with these series and now the potential is gone. I mean, they could do a remake or a sequel, but it wouldn't be nearly as hype. Now, I'm not asking or expecting Death Battle to go as obscure with these franchise debuts as Vector the Crocodile introducing the Sonic series for the first time, or introducing Dragon Ball with Captain Ginyu. But I'm just saying, if Death Battle had never made Gaara our first Naruto character, I may have never checked out the series and gotten into it. And then it never would have become one of my favorite anime of all time. If they started with Naruto vs. Ichigo, I might have not clicked the video at all because I wouldn't know either at the time. But by introducing it with Gaara, who was obviously going to fight Toph, a character I was interested in, I was able to discover it and love it. Which led to me not skipping other great episodes like Obi-Wan vs. Kakashi, because even though I hadn't seen Star Wars, I now like Naruto thanks to Gaara vs. Toph. Debuting franchises in Death Battle with the supporting cast over the main characters and heavy hitters can sometimes lead to these cool chain reactions that I'm a huge fan of and hope to see more of. Pet peeve number 3 is always sticking to the heavy hitters when it comes to the returning fighters. Kinda similar to the previous pet peeve, but for different reasons. And I'm not talking about the rematch fights, those have reasons to exist. You know, updating their research, showing how far they've come, they have more to tell, etc, etc. I'm just referring to the choices for singular characters on their own. We actually just got pretty cool choices with Akuma and Shao Kahn, but sadly that isn't always the case. We've had Sonic 3 times on the show if you want to count Archie Sonic, we've had Shadow 3 times on the show, we've had Wonder Woman 3 times on the show, one of which was against another returning heavy hitter, Thor. And if you want to count Batman Beyond, we've had Batman on the show 5 times, one of which was against another returning heavy hitter, Iron Man. Not only does bringing back these types of characters make the matchup super predictable because they're heavy hitter characters, so obviously they're going to have that one big heavy hitter matchup everyone's looking forward to, but sometimes it can even make the outcome predictable, like with Wonder Woman vs. Thor. In Wonder Woman's first fight, she lost to Rogue, a battle she obviously should not have lost. In Thor's first fight, he bodied Raiden. It was way too easy, the victory was just handed to him. So I guess they saw that Wonder Woman deserved justice and Thor deserved a proper challenge and decided to hit 2 birds with 1 stone. Everyone saw the matchup coming and everyone saw the victor coming, it just felt like a filler episode. But hey, since we've had Sonic and Shadow 3 times, why not bring back Knuckles? Everyone loves Knuckles, and as far as I know, there's no other super popular matchups with him, so it'd be a surprise. Or maybe bring back Crash Bandicoot, so you can correct the misinformation about Aku Aku's possession powers, include some of the abilities he left out, and talk about his new powers in Crash Bandicoot 4 It's About Time thanks to the quantum masks. None of those things would help him overturn his previous loss against Spyro, but they would open the door for a lot more fun and unique matchups that are unpredictable. It hurts me a little bit inside to say that Crash Bandicoot isn't a heavy hitter, but yeah, compared to all these Marvel and DC titans, smaller characters like him would be a lot more interesting to see return. Pet peeve number 4 is how they never explain updated research. I mean, they have no problem letting us know that research hasn't changed, like in Shadow vs. Ryuko. Shadow is this strong because he scales to Sonic, who is this strong, as established in Mario vs. Sonic 2. And oh man, the countless times the Naruto moon feat has been brought up. But then when research is different, crickets. I cannot explain to you how many salty reactions I've seen, how many salty comments I've read to Link vs. Cloud 2 and Mario vs. Sonic 2 where people just didn't get it and kept asking, well, why did Sonic win the first one? Why did Link win the first one? Oh, they just changed the outcome to please the fanboys. If they just simply explained things like, oh, well, new content has come out for this character since their last fight, and that new content has helped them snag the victory. Or, those episodes are outdated. Back then, we didn't have the technology to do research as in-depth and accurate as we do now. In my opinion, including stuff like that would ease a lot of people's confusion and reduce backlash. They almost did that in Mario vs. Sonic 2 when Boomstick brought up how he seemed to recall Sonic having this fight in the bag. But then, they immediately turn around and go, Sonic could have won in a few specific scenarios before then telling us that Mario blew Sonic's stats out of the water, could counter anything Sonic could throw at him, and could out-hack Sonic with his power-ups. So, what exactly is one of the few specific scenarios where Sonic could win a matchup like that? Making Mario start with all his bones broken? I totally get that they were trying to cushion the blow for Sonic fans, and they were likely afraid that saying the original one was wrong too would make the backlash even more intense. But I feel like, in reality, being more open and communicating the reasoning a lot more honestly and clear instead of trying to shield people would reduce the confusion, which in turn would reduce the backlash even more. And this doesn't just go for the rematch episodes, this goes for any episode where the research updates, where the verse gets upgraded from their previous episode, where non-canon stuff is now considered canon. Nowadays, more and more competent versus debaters are popping up on YouTube, so better be as clear and transparent as possible. And pet peeve number 5 is, well, this one's a bit debatable on whether it's just a pet peeve or an actual flaw, but the pet peeve is that Death Battle never explains how Death Battle works. Sure, every episode opens up with it's our job to analyze their weapons, armor, and skills, but rarely do the matchups ever come down to that. 90% of the time, it's the character's stats that matter, their strength, speed, and durability, with the occasional hacks or unique traits to help. It's the #1 biggest versus show on YouTube, or of all time pretty much, and they never explain how versus works. They have been using a lot more versus terms these past couple years, like scaling, lowball, highball, stomp, hacks, etc., but they never explain the functions of these things or how they work. I've seen loads of people get confused by attack potency. Tons, kilotons, megatons, gigatons. To a ton of people, it makes zero sense. Even when they see the math on screen, the calculations, they just notice a huge number and think it's made up for the fight. How is the average non-versus person supposed to know that a singular gigaton is more than like 700 kilotons? They'd see the bigger number of the kilotons without knowing the bigger value of the gigaton and get super confused. And oh goodness, speed is the worst. Casual non-versus people really need a solid explanation on why travel speed, reaction speed, and combat speed is different and how they work. Trying to get people to understand how your speed can scale to vehicles by driving them or manually piloting them is unreasonably difficult. And then of course there's explaining how certain hacks can be so good they can defeat someone who's faster, stronger, and more durable. In the end, I've decided that this is a pet peeve and does belong on the list. It's a flaw too, but not a flaw for Death Battle to fix. It's a flaw that should be fixed through another show, a versus tutorial if you will. It's pretty clear that Death Race isn't coming back, and this recent DBX season was the shortest season yet. So a versus tutorial show would be an excellent way for Death Battle to keep up the content outside the main show without having to use too much budget on resources and animation. But oh boy, now we're getting into new Death Battle show ideas, a topic for another list. But that'll be done another day. For now, those have been my top 5 Death Battle pet peeves. Let me know your pet peeves in the comment section below, and let me know how bad you think these pet peeves were. Do any of these need to be fixed? I'll be sure to check out your answers in the comments. See you guys next time. LeopoldTheBrave, out.